Not even live. Just calm down. There's absolutely no reason for that not to be working. I've not just turned this on. When I first turn it on, I have to turn the audio on. It's been on all morning. For that to be off, yeah, I'm just going to deal with it, but that shouldn't be happening. That shouldn't be happening. Right, I was just saying there, massively excited about this game. Both these teams deserve to be in this situation. They're fighting for fourth place. It's the start of a big Super Sunday, of course, and we've got you covered for both games. Look, I'd love United to get into a top four race. Of course I would, but I don't think we will, because I think bottom line is they've just been better than us this season, Spurs and Villa, and this is... Look, I don't know whether this game's just not getting the hype it deserves, or it's just because Liverpool are playing Man City, but I think it's an absolutely massive game. I really, really do. I think Villa will win. I do. Let me just get this going. Let me just get this tweet out as well. I think Villa are going to win it. I'm going to go through the team news for you, but look, by no means write Spurs off. I did, you may have seen it yesterday on the podcast, actually. We did a combined 11. I don't think I've ever had a tougher combined 11 this season to do than Villa Spurs. Like, it really is difficult to pick out players from each team. But look, let's go through the team news. Martinez in goal, Konza, Torres, Longley, Digne, Matty Cash, so it's basically a back five, isn't it? Luis, McGinn and Tillemans, and then Bailey and Watkins up front. I don't know where he is, Jacob Ramsey. He's been doing quite well for them recently, but I think he might be injured, which is a bit of a shame for them. Zaniola on the bench, Diaby on the bench, Carlos. Spurs, Vicario, Porro, Romero, Van der Ven, Udogie, Bissoma, Sarr, Maddison, Kulusevski, Johnson, Son. Arguably their best team. I think that's their strongest 11. And then you look at their bench: Højbjerg, Dragerson, Royal, Werner, Lo Celso, Bentancur, Davies. They've got a strong bench. They've got their strongest team out. Spurs look good. They look good, don't they? They do look good. Let's do a little bit of poll on this. I'll have a look at the league table in a moment. That's on the screen for you. But result predictor. So Villa win, draw, or Spurs. Get your votes in there. And we're awaiting our first super chat of the evening, of the afternoon as well. So I've got that open. But let's have a look at the chats. Man United or Liverpool win on St Patrick's Day, says Thomas. Is it St Patrick's Day? Well, I've never... well, I know when St Patrick's Day is, but I hadn't figured out that it was on the same day as a Liverpool Man United. I mean, Dublin's going to be... Yeah, I don't know whether that's a St Patrick's Day. I've got to be honest. I've enjoyed many St Patrick's Days in Dublin. I think I've had about 5 there. I lived there for 4, so I've only had 6 actually. Lovely day, fantastic. There's nothing quite like being in a nightclub at 2 o'clock in the afternoon on a Monday because it's St Patrick's Day. It's a great day, and it's always like, you probably don't have it in your countries, but we open our pubs on Christmas Day lunchtime for a couple of hours. And there's nothing quite like being sat there at 1 o'clock on Christmas Day having a pint in the beer garden when it's actually a Monday. But anyway, I digress. But I don't think I'd fancy Liverpool Man United on St Patrick's Day, because St Patrick's Day is its own day. Like, it's unique. I wouldn't want football getting in the way of that, and I certainly wouldn't want Man United losing getting in the way of that. What are you hoping for as a United fan? Score, draw, or Spurs Villa win to make things interesting? Look, Man United's there it is. League table, we did win yesterday, 47 points for us. I think that Spurs got a game in hand, 8 points Villa. Draw probably. Draw or a Villa win. Spurs win just opens it up, doesn't it, really? We're 8 points off Villa anyway, and we'd be 6 points off if Spurs win. So, yeah. I think, yeah, draw. Draw or a Villa win is right for United, isn't it? Yeah, definitely. If you want to get your badge in the chat, says Ian, you can do that by joining the members club. We're about ready to go here. 2 big games. Pace yourself. Well, you don't have to pace yourself. Just, I think I'm going to get down and do a few press-ups in a minute and just keep the blood flowing. But players are about ready to go. Villa have got Spurs have got 2 games in hand, but this is one of those games in hand. So, yeah. I don't see United catching Villa or Spurs, because even if you did, the goal difference is another +1, isn't it? So, yeah. But looking at the teams, I think Spurs look a bit stronger, to be honest. But Porro is back, yeah. It's going to be a banging show on the United stand if you're a United fan, by the way, at 7 o'clock tonight. Don't poke the tiger, because the truth comes out. That's all I'm going to say. I've taken notes, and I'm more than happy for people to take shots. That's absolutely fine, but it's going to be a cracking show at 7 o'clock. A cracking day. Hopefully we're going to get some cracking football as well. Let me just have a look at this. There we go. Oh, let me get ready with the timer. About ready to go here. Spurs to kick it off. It's a Super Sunday. It certainly is. That's better. That is better. I had a problem with my lighting. And it was a little bit dark yesterday. And I couldn't figure it out. So I've been trying something out. And my phone is massive, by the way. I've just I've had this in the drawer for ages. Where's my old one? So I've been on. I'm quite bad with change. You might have noticed that before. So this is my old phone, which I'd been using, but I've had this phone for ages. I upgraded, and it's bigger. Look, it's a lot bigger. So I'm trying to get used to it at the moment. But there we go. Why are you hoping for us? Yeah, I've done that one from 9G. Thanks very much for your super chat, pal. Anyway, we're ready to go. Mate, there's a video coming out on my height this week. I've spoken to Will, and basically, I'm going to take this and we're going to measure myself, and we're going to put it up on a little clip. I'm just going to sit the Pratts down once and for all. When's the going gets tough, Marky gets rough, says Wayne. Thank you, pal. So anyway, we're up and running here. Rebecca's got a bit of a problem. She says that I'm a Welsh fan and I'm a Liverpool fan, and Wales are playing France at 3 p.m, then Liverpool at 3:45. I'm in for such a nervous afternoon. Yeah, I mean, Liverpool-Man City is a bigger game. There's no doubt about that, because it's for the title. And well done to Arsenal last night. Well done to Arsenal for last night. But, yeah, really desperately just want a draw in that game. It's very hard in a game of football to want a draw, though. I mean, I think you can bet on a draw, can't you? But it's very hard when a game starts to want a draw, because you're basically saying you want a 0-0, or you want one team to score and then another one to equalise. I think wanting a draw is a hard thing to watch for. But this is This is going to be very interesting. 2 teams, both going for top 4, as we can see. And Spurs have got some tough games to come as well, haven't they? I was looking at that before. I mean, not that Villa haven't, but when you look at Spurs fixtures between today, then they've got Fulham away next week. Luton at home, you'd expect them to win that. Then they've got West Ham away, Forest at home, and then they've got Newcastle away, Man City at home, Arsenal away, Liverpool away. So they've got a really intriguing April, really, because I think West Ham away will be quite difficult for them. Obviously, you'd expect them to beat Forest at home, but then Newcastle away, Tottenham, Man City at home, Arsenal at home, and then Liverpool away. So we've got some interesting fixtures, Spurs. I've messed up my FPL. I just keep forgetting to do it. It's annoying. There are other games going on today. You'll see our scoreboard going round, so that will give you the updates when they've kicked off. Brighton don't kick off till 2 o'clock. West Ham don't kick off till 2 o'clock, so they'll be kicking off when we're starting the second half. Liverpool Man City is at not at 4:30. It's at 3:45. So they brought that forward again. Not sure why. Lovely camera, Mark, says Just Kevin. What camera? Not the camera we're using. Drew James says you've got to play every team twice. Good question here. What did you think about the Kai Havertz? Oh, hold on. Ollie Watkins is in. Van der Ven's done very well there, and Vicario stops it from going for a corner. Well, Watkins has gone down. No, we don't want to see that. We don't want to see anything happening with Watkins. He's down. Man down. Joseph says that Villa are going to rip Spurs to pieces. They won't do it without Ollie Watkins, but it's a good interception by Tielemans, who has to put it out. Ollie Watkins is still down here. This is not good. Mark, will you admit Rice is better than Rodri, says Zane? No. So Watkins here sort of catches Romero out. He's into the box. Look at the recovery pace from Van der Ven. Good tackle. And it looks like... Is that not a penalty? No, he gets the ball. He kicks the ball. He does get the ball just about. Hi, Mark. You good? Love from Iran, says Mohammed. He loves Zanana as well. Hope you're doing well, mate. Watkins is back up as well. End of the day. What I would say is that Havertz works in the false nine. When Arsenal bought Havertz, I thought he was going to play in the false nine. When they put him in the midfield with Odegaard and Rice, I never liked it. Odegaard's game suffered because of it, because you can't have two 10s. Since Havertz has gone into the false nine and Jorginho's come into the midfield, Arsenal look infinitely better. So I think that's what's working well. Ace said that should have been a penalty. You know what? It's one of those really where he has got the ball, but he's got the player as well. It's hard to say it's a penalty because I don't think it is, but I sort of get what you mean, that we've certainly seen them given where you get the ball and the player. We've seen people sent off for that. I am doing the City game. We won the league at Anfield, yes. Spurs on the attack here. And it's gone over the bar. Would I take Havertz at United? Well, I would at the moment, yeah. Oh, just had a message. Seb's team 131. Ollie Watkins is down again here. This is worrying. This is worrying. Let's hope that Watkins can stay on here. McGinn's been caught in possession and the foul's given. Well, give us your thoughts on the start of this game. Sorry about that. I'm just trying to sort a few things out. Cross comes in. This could be a goal. Oh, headed away. Headed away. In the Bournemouth versus Sheffield United, they gave a penalty for the player winning the ball, but didn't give the one for United, says Cameron. Do you think Bruno would work well under Southgate? Well, it doesn't. He's not English, mate. Hi, Mark. Did you end up cooking the beef Wellington last night? Says Zar. I did. It was absolutely beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Good tempo to this game, though. Do you think Van de Ven is top 3 centre-backs in the Premier League behind Saliba and Van Dijk, says Per? I think he's doing very, very well. I do like Van de Ven. Yeah, I do like Van de Ven, but I don't know whether I'd say that he is at that level just yet. Oh, my God. Come and have a look. Where can you go? Stand in front of me. Look at that. That's football. That's football. Look at that. Muddy. Did you play well?
Yeah, it's 4-2, we won.
Did you? Look, your hands are cold as well. Make any tackles?
Yeah.
Look like you did. Score any goals? No, because you're defence. All right. Better go and have a shower. You'll enjoy that shower.
Yeah.
See you later. It's that sort of weather here today where it's drizzle, but the ground is soft. So, yeah, get in. Get a few tackles in there. Love that. Yeah, the beef Wellington was lovely as well. Here's Watkins in again, trying to attach himself to Romero, who doesn't have the pace of Van de Ven. But look, Van de Ven's a good player, but yeah, I don't know whether he'd be the 3rd best centre-back in the league. I mean, look, people won't give it any credit because obviously United are doing badly this season, but Varane's been very good for United the last few weeks. Keep your comments coming in. Sorry, I'm getting a lot of lovely messages from people that I'm having to just reply to. It's been a weird day today. Oh, God. I'm just trying to watch the football. I'm getting so many bloody messages. I tell you what, it'd be hilarious if I could show you who these messages are coming from. How you doing, March? Any chance you see Chelsea in Europe next season, says Asan. You're still in the FA Cup, mate. I suppose that's your chance, isn't it? But I'd say the chances of seeing Chelsea in Europe at the moment are probably about the same as seeing, you know, Ollie Moores win. Well, what can you win as a singer? Ian Beale winning an Oscar. Charlie, yeah, I mean, basically, it's just really weird because I'm going to talk about it on the United Stand in more depth, but basically, yeah, we did this Rasmus interview, and apparently there's a story gone out there that United players weren't happy about it, and they've told Rasmus not to do it again, which is just so dangerous on so many levels that United players think they can tell other players what they can and can't do. The bottom line is that you can't do an interview with a Man United player and get it out there without everybody knowing about it. We had all the questions checked. The video was checked. We were at Carrington basically all day. Everybody knew we were there. Players knew we were there. Ten Hag knew we were there. The owners knew we were there. They knew we were coming. The interview didn't go out the day. It went out about 2 weeks after. And now people are believing that United players have told Rasmus, don't do it again. That channel's toxic. Well, he's been watching the channel for years, as do some of the United players. So it's just weird. But what makes me laugh the most of all is the fact that basically, even if the story was true, you've got a player that doesn't like the United Stand leaking a story that they've told Rasmus not to do it again. And then you've got United fans saying, yeah, big up that player who's been criticised because they're not very good. And our fan base is backing that player over fans who are saying that we're not very good. It's just mad. And you know what it is? It's just people trying to cancel people. And all these aggregators and everything who are doing it are idiots, because what we actually did with that interview was smash a barrier down that nobody in the United fan base has ever done before. So all these aggregators and other accounts that are going in on us, they're basically eating their own arse, because by us getting in there, it opens the door for you to get in there. But by you slagging it off and slagging us off, you're basically just going to shut the door on everybody doing it. Or, at best, you're just going to be a lapdog. I don't care if we never get another interview again. We're not going to change the way we do our content. And the reason they don't like the content is because we're honest. And we say, that player's not good enough. That is not good enough. United are not doing well enough because we've been shit for 10 years. But you've got these people. I mean, we'll end up where we were 10 years ago, really, where the media, run the show. But what I find absolutely hilarious is that the United Stand is apparently blacklisted by players because it's negative. And yet the Sun, the Manchester Evening News, the Daily Mail, they've all been doing it for years. And it's absolutely fine. But it's the pile-on mentality, isn't it? People just want to cancel something without thinking about it. And it is jealousy and bitterness, if we're being absolutely honest. But I'm doing a video at 7 o'clock and I'm just going to tell the absolute truth about everything and how it happens. And I know for a fact that the United players knew that interview was happening 2 weeks before it happened. So if they wanted to stop it, they could have stopped it. And I know who wasn't happy about it. And I know who didn't give a shit about it. And I know that they didn't stop it. So, they can leak what they like, but it'll just come back in their face. And that's what's going to happen at 7 o'clock. But ultimately, bottom line, you've potentially got a player who's not playing well, moaning about an interview. And maybe they're moaning because the interview did really, really well. And the player came across really, really well on the biggest Man United fan content channel. It was seen by millions of people, and it was a good interview. And it was a good interview because the player and the club signed off on the questions. And it came across really well, and it was really positive PR for the player and for the club. And I just think probably there's a bit of jealousy there from somebody who was like, yeah, why are you doing that for? What are you doing that for? So it'll backfire. Ultimately, these players need to learn to take criticism, don't they? And they just can't do it. They want to be told that they're brilliant and, have positivity around them when they're not good enough to wear a Man United shirt. End of the day. Watkins is one-on-one. He's offside. He's definitely offside. He was offside. You'll find out all about it at 7 o'clock. We're watching a match here, but I'm just saying, like, there's been a lot of things sort of kicking off. Yeah, he's offside. He's not onside. Somebody said he was offside. He was onside. He's not. He's definitely off. I don't know what he was doing anyway. Why was he trying to square that? Exactly, Dirk said. What was that pass? Absolutely no idea. And we've had 20 minutes go here already. Yeah, Sar's about to get booked. At least Delo would have liked it. He follows United Stand on Twitter, says Florian. Mate, I don't like going down that road because people just don't believe it. I mean, I had somebody say to me today, as if you talk to players, the whole shitstorm is about an interview with a player that we arranged. I sort of, you'd be amazed what people on social media interact with players anyway. You don't have to be running That's Football or something like that. A lot of players interact with a lot of fans, and fair play to those fans that don't, expose it. I speak to a lot of players. I've spoken to a lot of players for years. Not all of them are Man United players either. And I would never betray that confidence or trust because that's just bang out of order. Just know that Rasmus scored goals after the interview, says Philip. True. My respect for your fan base has gone up. Good on them for exposing your hypocrisy on giving dodgy penalties and you getting paid by Eric Ten Hag's agent. You're getting hate because United fans know who you are. Good on them, says King Klopp. Thanks for the super chat, mate. Who am I? I'd love to know. I mean, obviously, I live my life day to day, but I'd love to know who I am according to you. And good on your lovely. Thanks for the super chat. Appreciate it. Mark, I have a bird in sight. Do I hit or miss? Your decision, King. She's a 6 out of 10. Says Flawless. God, I'm not giving advice on that, mate. Yeah. You do what's good for you. What's the plans for you Euros, Mark? We have guests on. Love the stream, says Ben. We've not finalised it yet. I mean, I'm looking forward to the Euros. We'll certainly be doing the watch-alongs as per usual. People just get a kick out of tearing others down. Don't let it get to you, Mark. All the best from Ireland, says Carjack. Thank you very much. The Gory says Ten Hag agency has said it's worked with the United Stand. Any answer? Well, absolutely not. I mean, look, what makes me laugh is I'm not getting into arguments with faceless Twitter accounts that have got Ericsson as their Avi. Like, if you want a proper thing, I will just address it on the United Stand with my face. I'll answer it, or I'll answer it here. I can't argue with faceless Twitter accounts making up rumours because people have been doing this about transfers for years. Oh, United are going to sign this player, and people believe it. People are thick. People are thick, and they will believe anything that they want to believe. You're never going to prove or show any evidence that we've been paid or have a relationship or an agreement or contract or anything like that with anybody, because we just don't. What you have is people who want Ten Hag out that don't like the fact that I want Ten Hag to stay. That's what you've got. What you've got is people who are jealous, of relationships that we have with, certain people in relation to we get on. They want to turn it into something else. It's incredible, Nigel says people have a kink in putting people down. It's honestly sad. I've lived in this country all my life, mate. You get built up and then you get knocked down. Whether it's Gaza, whether it's a pop star, this is the mentality of the UK. It's been all my life. You get built up and then you get knocked down. That's what it is. Corner for Aston Villa. Let's get back on the game anyway, because I'm sure people just want to watch the match, really. Corner to Villa. 22 minutes gone. Ooh, I tell you what, Vicario was flapping at that, but it was a good header away. I'd say Villa have had the best of it so far. Let's have a look at the stats. That's the table. Well, Spurs have had more possession. Wow, to be honest, you wouldn't think Villa have had the best of it at all, would you? Spurs have had more of the ball, but no shots on target for either team in the first 23 minutes. They're sort of cancelling each other out. Hi, Aaron. I can't pronounce that name. What's up, guys? Nepenthes here. Arseny says, what happened to win, lose or draw? Is there any chance you bring it back? No. I very rarely quit on anything, but I gave up on win, lose or draw because cross comes in, Vicario gets out of it. I like win, lose or draw, but every Sunday night I was having to watch the video back, write down what we'd done, write it all down again, predict for the next weekend. And you know what? It's half an hour out of my time on a Sunday night, and I'm knackered. And I just was like, I can't be arsed with this. I know some people enjoyed it, but honestly, I stopped doing it because I just couldn't be arsed. I missed a couple because of the Super Bowl, and I just gave up. And also, Fozzie was crap at it. It was, you know, there wasn't much enjoyment beating him every week. Can you get Ollie Murs on the channel, please? Says Grace. He's very welcome. I just don't think he will. Scotch or cognac, says Reb. Scotch. Superfly. Most fools on social media are exactly like the crybaby players they support. Slow puppets with zero intelligence. Thank you very much, Superfly. Fabrizio was on the United Stand tomorrow, says KN. Sorry. He's not going to be on this channel. He's on the United Stand tomorrow. But I can always slip a question in about other football stuff if you want me to do it. I do it sometimes. Tom Edwards says, if they're talking about you, it means they're jealous. And 58 Go says, Arsenal denied 2 Stonewall penalties. Collins waving imaginary cards. Brentford on the floor every 2 minutes. We'll all hear about the Havertz dive. Hey, look, as I said, with the Havertz one, I think either way, you're going to moan, right? The Havertz is a dive. He's on a yellow card. He could have got a yellow card. Absolutely could have got one. But if he'd given the yellow card, Arsenal wouldn't have won that game. They'd have drawn or lost it. And Arsenal fans would have been quite right saying VAR has fucked us over again, because do the referees provide consistency on yellow cards for diving? Absolutely not. They don't. So Brentford, Liverpool, Man City fans moaning that Arsenal should have had Havertz sent off. You're right. Arsenal fans moaning that he shouldn't have been sent off. You're right. We don't have a consistent system with the PGMOL. And that's why this season has been flawed in essence. Here's Ollie Watkins in again. Porro's too quick for him, gets back. Yeah, the system is flawed because what is a handball? We don't know. What's a red card? We don't know. And is it a yellow card for diving? Sometimes. So, yeah, I think that Havertz could have had his second yellow card. But if I'd have been an Arsenal fan and he'd have got one, I'd have moaned my head off going, you don't always give it. I see Sterling do it. Doesn't always get booked for it. Here's Son on the break. I tell you what, it is a good game, but both defenders are doing really well so far. They never give up, never surrender, Mark. King Arthur, says Nelly. So good point by 58 Go, but I don't think... I think the yellow card would have been a massive call, really. And, I mean, it's not hard to solve. All you got to do, as Howard Webb say, is if somebody dives, I want a yellow card. It's a bit like the back pass rule, isn't it? It's too... I mean, what... Great point here made by me, but why is it... Look, I worked in law. I'm sure some of you are lawyers. Some of you might be surgeons. You know, there are jobs where there are multiple rules and laws to follow. Football is not that difficult for a referee. Like, there's not millions of rules. There are, you know, probably 10 core rules that you need to know about, right? So why is it that football in the modern Premier League is so airy-fairy in relation to consistency? Like, if it's a back pass, give the indirect free kick. They don't always do it. If somebody dives and it's a yellow card, give a yellow card. They don't always do it. Like, it doesn't make any sense to me why we can't have consistency. Do you reckon you could take on Harry Maguire one-on-one, says Corey? Oh, not at the moment, mate. My back's really struggling. Lovely ball. Oh, Martinez is there. That was a great passage of play, by the way. Villa nearly could have slipped Tielemans in one-on-one. Wrong pass choice. And then Son nearly ends up one-on-one as well. Hi, Mark. Do you think the Spurs game... Here we go. They're again here. These high lines are really exciting to watch. There was someone in the chat there that said Watkins needs to wake up. Well, here's Bailey. And Matty Cash just puts it wide. Do you think Spurs game controversy will be brought up again if Liverpool lose the title by a point, says Will Sherlock? Oh, 100%. 100%. I mean, I'm not a Liverpool fan and I won't shut up about it, and I'm not an Arsenal fan and I won't shut up about it. If Arsenal lose the league by a point to Man City, I'll go absolutely mad about that Newcastle goal, which never should have been given for the foul on Gabriel. And if Liverpool lose the title by a point to Man City, I'll go absolutely mad saying that you know PGMOL has done it. Really, they must be starting to get a bit nervous about that actually. I mean, look, you talk about the 1-1-5, but that would be disgusting if Liverpool lose the title by a point, or Arsenal. Oh, Kulusevski. No, good interception. Been a good game, this. A nice little starter ahead of the main course. Liverpool and Man City. Are you going to Cheltenham this year, Mark? Says Jake. Oh, I've had so many invites to go. Get your words out. I've had so many invitations to go to Cheltenham this year. But I don't think I'm going to go. It's a great atmosphere. But it's one of them things where if I'm going to go, I want to be staying in Cheltenham on the night, and this week's a bad week for it. Oh, Ethan's got an interesting chat. He says, how are these two above United? Both horrible and boring. Odegaard was pulled round the neck before the dive, says 58 go. And why is Son so underrated? Would love him at United, says Reb. Yeah. You've got to say he's been one of my favourite players for a while. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, by the way. Big afternoon of football here. We're on the road to 117. I am doing Chelsea-Newcastle tomorrow night, by the way, as well. Which I think is going to be the battle for mid-table, some would call it. Juice says that the Newcastle goal was foul. What was fine? No, I think it was no, I'm not having that. I mean, I'm no Arsenal fan, but I think it was such a blatant foul on Gabriel. Watkins has been terrible today, says JDDD. I understand the frustration with Casemiro, but the way Ten Hag set the team up isn't helping him. He always gets swamped in midfield and no one to pass to, says Mario. Rami says, probably with yellows for dives is how hard it is to prove intention. Also, plenty of penalties where a player embellishes contact, which is by nature deceitful, says Rami. I think it's a great point. I think the thing with the Havertz one yesterday is that VAR can help. There's no contact. It's a dive. It's a dive. Like, that is a blatant dive by Havertz. You can tell when a player simulates contact. I would never give a player a yellow card for not enough contact. If someone contacts them, I just think it's impossible to say. Because, I don't know, have you ever stubbed your toe? Like, you can stub your toe by just brushing it on the carpet and it can bloody hurt. So, the fact that people can say there wasn't enough contact to go down, how do you even measure that? But when there's no contact, then I think that, you know, yellow cards are very easy to do, and that's what VAR is surely there for. But I don't think VAR is actually allowed to do that. Oh, lovely play by Son. Lovely play by Son. And I thought he was going to give a foul there, ref, but he played it on. Andy says, as a United fan, what result do you want? I'd say a draw. A draw or a Villa win. I don't think a Spurs win really helps United massive. I mean, look, United aren't going to get it anyway. Lovely interception here by Matty Cash. He goes to Bailey, but Spurs have got a lot of players back here. Penalty. Whoa, I thought that was a pen. Genuinely thought that was a penalty. Whew. Look, very clumsy, says Matthew McFadden. I'd love to see that again. I just can't. Look, we need to see it again. But that looked like a penalty to me. We're not going to see the replay, are we? Didn't look like he got anything near the ball. Where's VAR, says Chris. Well, they'll surely do their job. The ball's gone out here, so let's have a look at this. Surely we're going to see the replay. Well, yeah, they're going to show it. He might get a bit of the ball. You know, we've only seen it first. Here he is in the box. Yeah, he gets a bit on the ball. He gets a bit on the ball. Twice. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, he gets the ball. It's not a penalty. That's one of those, isn't it, where you just got to, you need to have another look at it in real time. When fit, who starts for England, Trent or James? Says Harry. Trent. I think Reece James is almost like a retired player these days. It's so long since I've seen him play. Angles are very deceptive, says Lee Berman. Yeah, definitely. Thanks for being a member, Lee, by the way. Nice to see a few badges. Aiden as well. Madison's been awful, says Aiden, another member. Emilio says, this proves you should stop talking about refereeing. Yeah, we're watching it on the telly from a camera that's on the halfway line and the referee is 10 metres away in real time. Of course he's going to fucking see the tackle better than us. Grow up. You bloody sunflower. Who'll be the Villa next year? Unexpected top 14. This is Reb. Well, Man United, hopefully. Mark, what's your score prediction for Liverpool Man City? I think Man City are favourites going into that game. I've said it before. I hope not. But I'd like a draw in that game. Arsenal would be top if it's a draw as well. Spurs really haven't created anything, have they? But Villa not really created much themselves, have they? It's a good game, though. I mean, that Spurs high line, it just leaves them open, doesn't it, a lot? But they have got the recovery pace with... Romero's the one who's got the least pace. That's the one you're trying to exploit. Mohammed, wouldn't Spurs losing help out Man United? Yeah, I mean, look, I think Spurs have got a very difficult run in, but a draw, you get the best of both worlds, don't you? I mean, let's not forget, 5th place might not get Champions League football. So you sort of like, you don't want Villa to go too far away, although they probably already are. I mean, I'm looking at Villa's fixtures. West Ham away next week. Wolves at home. City away, Brentford at home, Arsenal away, Bournemouth at home, Chelsea at home, Brighton away, Villa, Liverpool at home, Palace away. Villa have got better fixtures than Spurs. Aziz says, why didn't United or a big team go for Pau Torres? I don't know. I think he's been a crucial player for Villa. They're a better team when he plays, let's put it that way. I don't know. I don't know why. Shane Smith says, I thought this game would be more exciting. They're sort of cancelling each other out, Shane, to be honest. It's like I said on the podcast. A combined 11 with these two teams is really hard. Which is, you know, a sign that they're very well matched. Pau Torres, I agree with Mohamed. Pau Torres was a player that United were constantly linked with, but we never bought. Bruce says, every time Pau Torres was linked with United, you and the rest of the United stand called him Lindelof version 2. Oh, what is this? Pile on the United stand day? I mean, I thought it was Mother's Day, not pile on the United stand day. I mean, what a bunch of prats actually piling on a fan-led community channel because a couple of players who are multimillionaires and don't even turn up for United most weeks have fed something to the press. Just shows you how gullible people can be. You're actually backing and shouting out for players that don't deliver. You've just not figured it out. Well, who's to say that Victor Lindelof in a Villa team wouldn't be really good? Maybe Pau Torres isn't good enough to play for a Man City or a Liverpool or an Arsenal. Maybe Villa and Villarreal sort of suit him. Maybe he's only good for teams beginning with V. Flores Official says, do you think Villa can get another dominant performance against City like they did earlier in the season? That is, without doubt, the best performance I've seen against Man City in ages. That was total and utter dominance of chances and possession against Man City. I know it was only 1-0, but they dominated them. Lindelof in a high line, says M1. Yeah, you make a great point. I didn't say I wanted Pau Torres. I'm asking. Somebody asked the question, why did United not go for him? I said, well, yeah, I don't know. VAR can't intervene for dives, says Arsenal 444. 2 clear penalties denied. Well, there's the problem then. You know, there's the solution as well. If you want to be giving out yellow cards for simulation, you can't rely on the referee. You've got to bring VAR into that. So they need to change the rules. You can't rely on a referee to send somebody off for a second yellow card for diving. They're not going to see it in real time. So you need to bring VAR into that. So the system's flawed, basically. L8 says Macola's mad on his burner accounts. Oh, that guy, tell you the stories I could tell. In a minute, behind you on the game, any help, says Dusty. Still 0-0. And Maddison has been performing poorly since his big injury, says Keenan. It was a long injury, though. It can take a while for players to get back. Cross comes in. We're nearly at half time here. Hi, I think you should have an Easter egg in your This Is Football. You have a question at the end and the winner gets a hoodie. I quite like that, Havard. I do quite like that. Well, it's flown by. A lot of people are saying it wasn't a great game, but it's not been a great game. But I personally think that it's intriguing because of the... oh, God, it's that referee. I can't stand Kavanagh. Crap. Chances will come as teams get tired. Here's Brennan Johnson. He could have gone down. Could have gone down there. He was clipped. I wonder if he'd gone down there. Whether we'd got a penalty. A story's just come out about an hour ago, actually, that Man United and Liverpool are admirers of Neto. Would you take Neto? I think he's too injury prone. Here we go, Watkins. They've got a bit of a 3v3 here, Villa. Just got to wait. It's got to wait. Bit greedy. Tillemans was the overlap there. He should have waited. Lovely ball into the box for Digne, and he wins a corner. Yeah, I see what people are talking about Watkins. He's just not been quite at it today, has he? Corner to Villa. Oh, just looped wide. I think that was Digne again. Now it's Spurs on the attack. Maddison. Hi, Mark. Martinez could be back in a month. Very happy with the new Manu contract. If it was the Glazers, we would have given him 150 grand a week. Says Joshua. Hi, says Douglas. My missus asked if she could watch your channel on my tablet and then went through my messages while I was playing FIFA. Better tactics than Ollie, says Douglas. Very, very good tactics there. Very, very good tactics. I think you should have an Easter egg. Yeah, I've done that one as well. It's half time. I think it is half time here. Cancelling each other out, these two, definitely. And yeah, I don't really know. I don't know really. Look, I think in the second half they both start to get tired, and we probably see a more open game. But there's the stats. That's what I wanted to look at. I've been looking for that for the last minute or so. Let me just pause that. 69% possession for Spurs doesn't feel like that because. But look, no shots on target for either team. 2 shots, 2 corners to 1, 5 shots to 1. I mean, look, if I'm Spurs and I'm Ange, I'm not happy with that. I'm not happy with that at all. You've had 70% possession away from home and you've done nothing with it. Like 1 shot, I can't even remember what that was. I mean, look, maybe Ange looks at it and says, if we get a draw out of this, it's good. Reb says, I hope United stand haters have eternally itchy bums. And Daniel Pears says, should Anthony Gordon be picked for Euros? Yes, I think Anthony Gordon does deserve to go. But look, I suppose if you were going to pick Anthony Gordon or Marcus Rashford, most people would take Anthony Gordon, and they'd be right to do that. But also, on the other hand, I just think that Rashford, if he doesn't start, offers something quite unique off the bench, doesn't he? So, yeah, but it'll be very interesting. Just on the poll, 41% of you went with a Villa win, 32% with a draw, and 27% went with a Spurs win. I need to end that. Should have ended that a while ago. But yes, look, they've basically cancelled each other out at half time, and I think Watkins could have been better on the break a few times. But Spurs definitely need to be more creative because that's just nowhere near good enough with that possession to have created nothing. I mean, Martinez has had nothing to do. Issues I've seen, Johnson should be on the right and Basuma still average but better than last game, and Sarr not seeing any value yet, says Jay. I think there's a few players that are. I think there's a few players that are just not at the levels they were for Spurs. I mean, I've seen a couple of Spurs games recently, and they've. You look at Palace. There was another game before that. I forget who it was. Maybe it was Bournemouth or something like that. And they're just not. You know, you look at the Spurs starting lineup, and you expect a lot better. They just they're not firing this season, and I don't. They are firing this season, but the last few weeks they're not firing, and I don't really know why, because they've not got European football midweek. They get the whole week to train. They just seem to have lost a bit of momentum that they had up until November. They had those injuries, I know, from November to December. Then they had a few players away, like Son and Bissouma and a few others because of the AFCON and the Asia Cup. But they just don't seem to have got that early season rhythm back. They're still trying to play the same way. They're on the ball. They're playing the high line. But yeah, I don't know what it is with Spurs. Answers in the chat. I've got no idea why they're just not. They're not as good as they were. Maddison, you can understand he's come back from a big injury. But have teams figured them out a bit? I don't know whether it's that either. Hi, Mark. Excluding Tonali and the transfer circus at Chelsea, who do you think has been the most underwhelming signing this season? Love the content, says Christian. Well, can I include Mason Mount in that, or are we just going to disclude that? Because, he may end up becoming a good player for United, but, I mean, we've basically just not had him all season. But I suppose Chelsea fans could say that about Lavia as well. Underwhelming signings. I mean, look, what about the guy Nunez from Wolves to Man City? He's been a bit injury prone as well. So I think there's been quite a few players this season that have come in and not necessarily hit the ground running. Vardial has disappointed me, says Disease Gaming. I don't even know what the situation is with Lavia. Like, has he actually been fit? Or did he get injured at Chelsea? I forget what happens with him. I know that Liverpool wanted him. Chelsea wanted him. And did they buy him injured? I can't remember now, but he's been out all season. And Nkunku's another one. Both teams are scared to lose, says Danilios. Yes. Timber's another one. I don't think we've ever had a summer transfer window where so many players have been injured. Like Timber, Lavia, Nkunku, Mason Mount. There's been so many that have done it. Lavia has been injured all season, says Leo. Yeah. Doku had one good game and then nothing, says Lex. Yeah, we can't remember what Rio Ferdinand said. He'd rather watch Doku than Saka. Off one game. Do you think Timber will be a good player? Yes, I do. I like Timber, Charlie. I think he was our priority ahead of Martinez when Ten Hag first came in. He will be a good player, but look, as I said, there's just been so many long-term injuries this season. I don't know whether I've just noticed it more this year, but just so many injuries, and people don't want to have the conversation. It's a bit like VAR in the PGMOL. You moan about it for a few weeks, and then nothing changes, and they just get away with it through apathy because people stop. I think that I think it's interesting, but people don't want to have the chat about injuries as well. We're getting so many injuries because players play so many games and they play so many minutes. That's why it happens. I'm re-watching An Idiot Abroad by Ricky Gervais. I was wondering, have you ever watched it? It's a good laugh. I haven't, KMD. I've never watched it. Why don't you do more movie nights? And what do you watch lately, says Kaka. I watched Napoleon last night. I decided to watch it because I like Joaquin Phoenix, and I just thought, you know what, I'll give it a go. 2.5 hours, and I didn't pick my phone up once. I wouldn't say it's anywhere near Gladiator or anything like that, but it was okay. I know it got panned a little bit, but I thought it was watchable. Yeah. Acknowledge the chief, love the channel, says Romeo. Thank you very much. Both teams are scared to lose, says Danny Elias. You might be right. You might be right. Ladios watched King Kong, and he loved it last night. Ladder 49 is quite good. Yes, James, I enjoyed that. Fennick's just put the link for the podcast out there as well. Thanks, Fennick. Minitel says, injuries are brutal this season. I'd love to know if any team has ever had 3 season-ending ACL injuries in one season before, or if Villa have set a record, says Minitel. Mate, the injuries, like, it's so funny, actually. I mean, look, I don't want to go back into this because I'm going to talk about it United Stand tonight, but, you know, United Stand being called out because of some stupid rumour, and you know, everybody bumping their gums trying to cancel the United Stand because it's critical of players that aren't good enough for the team. I mean, it's just madness, isn't it? But what really frustrates me is a lot of this will be being fed by jealous outlets who are intimidated, let's be honest. But it's so easy. If I had the resources, if I ran the Manchester Evening News or the Daily Mail or the Telegraph or the Times, right, I'll give you a free hit. Been talking about it for ages. There's an easy hit piece that everyone would go, wow, that was really well written. Right? Injuries this season are through the roof. I haven't even looked at this for a while, but before Christmas, we'd had a 20% increase in injuries before Christmas. I don't know what it is now, but it won't have come down. So in one season, we've had over 20% increase in injuries. What has anyone done any work on the type of injuries? Like, this is happening because we're asking players to play longer. There's your player hater. You know, they earn massive money, I know. But what's the I don't care. If a player gets paid 300 grand a week, the money's in the game. As long as they perform, I don't really care. But what's the point in paying these players this sort of money if they're going to be injured? And so many of them are injured. I think there's a great comment here about 3D pictures from Tom. I played football at a good competitive level from the age of about 14 to 17, and I was never injured, and nobody in my team ever had a bad injury. I can't even remember a bloody Achilles heel, calf strains, hamstrings. I just can't remember anything. I can't. And I would remember we had the same team every week, and some of us were playing 3 or 4 times a week. We just didn't get injured. My daughter plays under 14s. She's had an ankle injury. She's been out for 3 weeks. One of her striker has done her knee, ACL, at 14. You look at the professional game, it's happening all the time. I think there's something to be said about these 4G, 3G pitches, 5G, whatever you want to call it. I just think we never played on them when I was a kid. It was grass. It was always on the grass. You never played it. And we played a lot of games hard away. I did get injured. One season I had shin splints, and I had shin splints because I played too much football on hard ground at 15. And but that was manageable. But the amount of ACLs being done now and ankles being done now, I think the game is so much better in relation to the quality of the surface. But how can it be that we used to play in muddy? I mean, if you're old enough, can you remember? Sometimes you'd kick off and the game would be like a ploughed field. You know, you weren't playing pet ball. It was just the goal mouths were a disgrace. It was just bobbling up all over the place. But the increase in injuries now, there's such a good piece there to be done on it. Just do it around the Premier League. Doogie has gifted 5 memberships. You're a legend, mate. And Owen says, love you, Mark. Huge United fan for top 4. I don't think we'll get top 4 because I think Villa and Spurs are much better than us. But, you got to keep hoping. Here at half-time, stop talking bad about us, says Son. Ange Ball is unsustainable, says Arsenal 44. Even with a full squad, they aren't the same. It's because of the extreme high tempo football making the players tired. Well, maybe. Maybe you're onto something there. Maybe you are. Just having a bit of a stretch. Leon says it's the boots or people are just being snowflakes. Well, I don't think you can be a snowflake about an ACL. I think that's something that you do or you don't, but there's a lot of them going on. A draw's not a bad result for United. I mean, I feel guilty when I feel delusional when I say it. And United, we're not going to catch Villa and Spurs. I just don't think that's not, and that's not because we need to sack the manager or because Rashford and Bruno haven't been as good. We're just not going to catch them because they're better than us this season. Like we don't deserve to catch them and we won't catch them. But it's always nice while it's still on, I suppose. And what we need is a draw probably in that sense, yeah. But the way the game's going, even though Spurs have had more of the possession, I'd fancy Villa to win it. They've looked more dangerous on the break. Villa just haven't done anything so far. Right, the players are coming out for the second half. Spurs just haven't created anything. I think that's been their big problem. Hi, Mark. Would you take Gary O'Neill as England manager? I would, Will. I'd take him over Southgate every day of the week. Every day of the week. 2BM games have just kicked off. We have got something going round on the screen if you're interested in that. It will update you here as it goes round. So, yeah. West Ham and Burnley have just started, and so has Brighton and Forest. So that'll be going round on the stats carousel. Make sure you download OneFootball, links in the description, or you can scan the QR code in the top right-hand corner when it's there. Get all your latest football news, transfer news, etc. Links in the description. Yeah. I think, you know what? I think Daniel Sturridge is a crap pundit. We do talk about pundits, so it's not being a hater. I think Daniel Sturridge is a shit pundit. Oh, I've used the word shit. He probably thinks I'm shit, so it's fine. I really like Mika Richards and I like Roy Keane, but I don't like Sturridge. I just think I don't know whether it's his TikTok stuff as well. I don't know. I just think some ex-players want to be social media influencers, which is fine. You know, it's a free world, but yeah. Henry's good. Yeah, I agree, Charlie. Right, ready to go for the second half here. There we go. Kieran White says, imagine Liverpool and City draw. We've just kicked off for the second half, by the way. BS Crizzy says, what are your thoughts on peeing in the shower? Well, I think it's one of those things where if you admit it, people think you're disgusting, but I just think you get to that point in life where you just need to tell the truth. Can I do a backflip, says John. I've never been able to do a backflip. They're in here again. Matty Cash straight away. Just needs to cut it in. Why didn't he pass? I think there's a problem with Villa today. They don't seem to want to play the obvious pass. Everybody just seems to want to take on the harder route. Who do you want to get promoted to the Premier League this year, says Charlie? I would like to see Ipswich go up. I think it's a great story when a team, double promotes, because obviously they got promoted last year into the Championship. Leicester are going to come up, which I think is nice again. And I just hope whoever comes up actually doesn't do a Burnley, Luton and Sheffield United and actually comes up and is competitive. Because what will happen is we'll end up with basically a Super League where you're never going to get relegated. And everybody should face that. Here's Son. Oh, good play by Konza. Good play by Konza. He's a very good player. I mean, are we at the point where Konza should be starting for England? They're in down the left-hand side, though. Digne. Oh, over the bar. Was that a block? I've played the game, says Constantine. Look, it's going to be Stones and Maguire. I get that. You know, that's just the way Southgate goes. But, I mean, the race for promotion is really interesting, isn't it? I mean, I don't pretend to follow the Championship much, but I have been following it recently. And you've got Leicester at the top. Then it's Ipswich and Leeds, isn't it? And then you've got Southampton. Van der Ven. This is not... He went down last week. He goes down more than a prostitute. Not that I know. I'm just going off stereotypical stories. He's coming off. Van der Ven is coming off. It's a shame. I think he's been a fantastic player this season. I'm just trying to figure out what might be wrong with him here. Spurs fans will know as well. Is he Spurs Martinez, says Aaron. I'm thinking hamstring. Oh, he's walked off. I don't know. He might be fine. The same thing happened last week. There was talk about him being injured. He is coming off here. He's walking absolutely fine though, so hard to know. Hard to know. He's off. He's come off. I mean, obviously, whatever it is, he was out for months with a hamstring. I mean, he wouldn't be walking. He's walking quite fast. He's walking faster than the physio. Hungry Hun says, I miss your Carragher impression. I can do a Sean Dyche impression, but it messes up my throat. I don't know how he does it full time, but Spurs are on the break here. Let's see what happens. Good cross and a goal. Oh my God, what a goal for Spurs that is. On the break, Maddison, I think is it Sarr or Bissouma with the cross? Sarr crosses it and Maddison gets on the end of it. 1-0. Well, from despair to celebration. There he goes. Going to play a bit of darts. Maddison scores. Van der Ven goes off, but straight away, look at this spin and run by Sarr. Very intelligent. He's onside. And the cross is brilliant because look at where Maddison is. That cross is magnificent because the defenders are in a really good position. The cross is just magnificent. That cross is absolutely fantastic. Look at where Maddison is. He's right in between the two centre-backs. It's such a good cross. Nothing Martinez can do. Nothing the defenders can do. Great goal. I don't know why the score's not updating here. This is... it is. They're checking offside, but it's not offside. No way. Villa kept wasting their chances. Spurs were bound to score, says Nigel. It was Beckham-esque, says Andrew. Oh, it's changed now. Slow sports news. Let him speak, Simon. He'll get there in the end. What a cross that is. It was Beckham-esque. And it's given. Well, Villa are going to have to step this up now. 1-0 Spurs. Lovely cross. Lovely goal. Well, you need a goal in this game, and we might get a draw out of it. I mean, the Spurs is not the result I would want as a United fan, to be honest. Two-0! Oh, God. Brennan Johnson. What's gone on? What's going on here? What's going on here? What's going on, Aston Villa? I can't believe it. 2-0 to Spurs. Emery's fuming. What are they doing? Emery bottling top four seems all too familiar since 58 go. Mate, they've got a good lead with the points they've got. Villa kept wasting their chances. Spurs were bound to score, says Nigel. I think I've just jinxed Konza, haven't I? Because it's going to be... Is it going to be him? Oh, dear, dear, dear. There's not going to be an offside here. Why have Villa players got their hands in the air? He's miles onside. There's absolutely nothing about this. Two-0. Son with the assist. Good finish by Brennan Johnson. Villa are mounting to climb back now. Backy says United definitely not going to get 5th place. Well, Villa fans, Spurs fans, this is a big result. They're still a way back. I mean, yeah, I'm speechless. I'm not normally speechless. I'm just surprised at how quickly Spurs have just done this. Half time, we spent most of the time talking about how they've been figured out, maybe, and they go and do that. Burnley are winning as well. A rocket, says Steve-O. Well, you know what, Villa, we talk about their brilliance at home, but we've also seen in this calendar year, Chelsea, Newcastle and United have all won here. Shotton says, do you care for other leagues or do you just watch the Prem? I really, really did used to care about the Serie A. But, yeah, I used to love Serie A, but I think COVID sort of stopped me watching other leagues because we had that period where there was a game on every day. Well, you remember when we could watch every Premier League game? And I did. And I just stopped watching anything else. So I do watch highlights and stuff. Here's Tillemans. Oh, good interception by Romero. Oh, I wouldn't watch the Bundesliga, Aaron. I hope Leverkusen win it. Double substitution here coming from Villa. And amongst all this madness, obviously Van der Ven's gone off injured for Spurs, but it's not since he's gone off, they've scored 2 goals. Have we got any news coming in on the Liverpool team, by the way? I don't know. Apparently Konate's not playing. But Spurs in the last 10 minutes have just took a massive step forward, and Villa struggling. They've got something to hold on to, haven't they, now as well? Villa need a goal back quick. Villa bottling top 4. Wow. Sound like a car. Formula 1 with Goldbridge. Wow. I think that I think Villa are in a very good position in relation to top 4. Obviously, they're competing with Spurs for that. I always think about it. Wow, what about United? You know, 4th place is the battle with Spurs for them. And the way the league table looks right now is this. So Spurs would be 2 points behind them with a game in hand. Unpopular opinion, the Championship is more entertaining than the Premier League, says Harry. Oh, I don't know about that. I don't know about that, Harry. We have had a very entertaining league this season. Would you do a snooker watch along, says 58? I mean, I would, but the views would be rubbish. HMH says, what a goal for Burnley. As a West Ham fan, I hope we can come back. Yeah, you'd see that as a home banker for West Ham, wouldn't you, against Burnley? But they are losing at the moment. It's all Spurs here at the moment. Villa have just lost their flow completely. They're getting the... They're reminding me of those games against Chelsea and Newcastle where they've just really struggled. It's going to be a yellow card here. Always a silly yellow card, that is, when you get in the way of a free kick. Half an hour to go, though. Still plenty of time. Please do subscribe, by the way. We're only 200 away from 117,000. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. Bad day at the office for Ollie Watkins so far. Salah is playing for Liverpool, but Konate is out. But he's not starting, apparently. You know what? It's such a shame because you want a good title race and Liverpool have just got so many injuries and Man City don't. Diaby's offside there. Ben says, are you doing Leverkusen versus Wolfsburg? No, my day is this. Then I'm on Liverpool against Man City, and then I'm on the United stand at 7 o'clock, which, by the sounds of it, is going to be quite an interesting show, because people seem to be quite interested in bullshit. So, which some people describe United stand as bullshit, but we'll certainly be telling the truth around these silly rumours about, you know, players and interviews, etc. Apparently, the odds are drifting for Liverpool, so some people are saying that means it's probably not good team news. Hannah says, I need some of your jinx powers. Man City are massive favourites against Liverpool, and I think they'll win. And I don't think Spurs would bottle this from 2-0. Dom says Quans is the real deal. We'll be fine. I mean, that Romanian centre-back that Spurs have brought in, he's a big unit, isn't he? Some good pressing from Villa. Oh, and it's worked because McGinn's here. Where's he going to go? He's in the box. Oh, come on. Great play by Vicario. Mark, in 2023, Spurs got rid of several players, including... What's going on here? Bit of pushing and shoving. McGinn. Let's just keep an eye on this. I didn't see it. They're in there saying it should be a red. He's giving him a red. He's giving him a red. McGinn, red card. I didn't see it. I'll have to come back to that chat. Well, it's game over here. Didn't see it. It's on a Dogie. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know whether it is a red. It's reckless, to be fair. I'm watching it again. I'm going to put it out as a poll. Should it have been a red? It's borderline. It's borderline for me. I think it's off the ball, it's reckless, and he's tripped him. But it's not like a 2-footer, is it? It's not what you traditionally see a red card for. Like, he's not studs up or anything like that. He's tripped him up. I can see why people think it is a red, but you don't normally see a red card for something like that unless it's last man. I certainly don't think Howard Webb's going to be concerned about having to overturn it or anything like that. But yeah, it's certainly a game ender. Mark, in 2023, Spurs got rid of several players, including Kane, then spent an additional 150k and just come in the same season and have them playing great football. It can be done, says Tom. Start, bench, sell, says Fat Boy. Rasmus, Garnacho, Mainu. Not doing it. No. Refuse. Why can't you put some shit United players in there? It's not good looking for Villa, is it? 2-0 down, 20 minutes to go. Another loss at home. What do you think about Michael Edwards going back to Liverpool, says Rigel Todd? I don't know. What is he, a director of football? Uh, 70% of you said it was a red card. Well, I'll bow down to democracy. I just think, in my opinion, it was well, it was certainly silly by McGinn. Let's be honest, it was really silly. But I think if he wanted to chop him in two, he could have done a lot more than that. He's just gone to trip him up, I think. Babu says it's unacceptable. Well, that's exactly what it's not. That's my whole point. It was a trip. Like, it's a trip. It's reckless, but it's a trip. It wasn't unacceptable. Like, it's unacceptable would be to launch himself studs first. He didn't do that. I think this is a good explanation. Alfie Does Roblox says, it's not harsh enough for a red, but it's not soft enough for a yellow. Yeah, let's call it a red. I don't want a purple or a blue or an orange card coming into the game, to be honest. It's a tactical foul. That's what it is. Yeah. It's a shame, though, because it sort of kills the last 20 minutes. There'll be no way back for Villa. He's got a lot better this season as the season's gone on, Adogi, though. I think he's going to have to come off. Oh, no, Brennan Johnson's gone off, gone down now. It's my fucking ankle. I've hurt my fucking ankle. Red boots him, reckless and no intention for ball, says Jack. Football says that was not a tactical foul, Mark. Do you know what a tactical foul is? I would suggest not, with your Spurs badge. What's going on in the other games? 0-0 between Brighton and Forest, 1-0 to Burnley. We should have that coming up for you, actually. Let's have a look. Yeah. .3:45 kickoff for Liverpool against City. So I'll finish this stream, have a little cup of tea, think about leaving the house, and then be back at 1:15. Lovely play. Oh, DRB could have... been away there. Suarez says, Watkins only plays well in irrelevant games and he is so bad against the big teams. Xander, thank you very much. It's all going downhill for Villa. Well, look, I'm looking at Villa's next few games. I mean, look, they're in a fight with Spurs, of course, for top four. The next few games for them both look like this. No, I don't want general football. I want Premier League fixtures. Shut up. Why won't it give me that? Okay, let's have a look. There we go. Okay, so... Oh. I think Villa are away to West Ham next week. Yeah, West Ham away for Villa next week. After playing Ajax on the Thursday. Spurs are away to Fulham. And then after the international break, Villa at home to Wolves and Spurs home to Luton. So you'd expect them both to... They've pretty much got the same sort of fixtures after this. But then they play midweek, West Ham away to Spurs, and Villa are playing City. Darwin in form and Van Dijk lost one game at Anfield. Van Dijk's lost one game at Anfield, says Jack. Yeah, looking forward to that. I think City are going to win. I think today could be a day for the away teams. Arbroath equaliser, says Manchester. If I was Spurs, I'd be going for some more goals here. Up against 10 men. Here's Kulusevski. Shoots over the bar. KJ says that the Villa fire we saw at the beginning of the season has been put out. Own goal, Brighton are winning. That's from Fennec. I think your standard fan says on paper City will win, but it's Anfield. That can change it. They've got to make it an atmosphere. And one thing we can't afford is a Michael Oliver Man City masterclass. He's got history of this. Trust me. Cameron says, I've never seen a red for that in my life. No, I agree. Talking about atmosphere as if you've ever left your armchair. Oh yeah, I don't go anywhere, mate. I just sit in my armchair. Why are you so bothered about my life? What is it? Just jealous? Just jealous that my life's better than your life? Well, you don't know anything about my life, mate. Get out and enjoy your own. Amazes me why people are just like you. Really sad. Spurs have sort of sat back a little bit since this, though. Here's Kulusevski. I think Kulusevski's... No, he'll probably go and score now. I think Kulusevski's been a bit off this season. Scott says, why is Goldbridge trending on Twitter? Oh, mate, You don't want to know. If you do want to know, I'm talking about it on the United Stand at 7 o'clock. Basically, in a very short, concise way, something went out this morning saying that after Rasmus did the interview with us, some United players weren't happy about it and told him not to do it. And he said, "Oh, I'm sorry, it won't happen again." And therefore, certain United fans on social media have jumped on it saying, "Cancel United Stand, it's disgraceful." And I'm just sort of like stunned. So I'm like, well, the story's not true anyway. I'll tell you the true story at 7. But crap United players that haven't performed at the club for years moan about performing player doing an interview with the United Stand, and fans back crap performing players over fans who call out crap performing players. That's the world we live in now. Just cancel people because we want to cancel people because we're jealous. It's crazy. And on the other hand, I'm also on the payroll of Ten Hag's agency, and that's why I back him. I can't. You know what? I didn't get A-levels or anything like that, so maybe I'm just a bit thick, but I just can't figure it out anymore. To me, it just looks like it just looks like people just want to hate on people, really. I don't really get it. I don't really understand it. But there's a truth to it. And what people also don't realise is that they're championing these crap players, telling Rasmus not to do interviews with the United Stand. How dangerous is that? So crap players tell good player, don't do interviews with them, stick by us. Why should that's the worst thing you can do is listen to those players. I mean, we talk about it all the time. United players that start off well and become shit as they come integrated into the dressing room. Yeah, but I'll go into more detail at 7 o'clock because it's full of holes, like a hedgehog's mattress. Simon says, no one's jealous, you just talk rubbish, and yet you're watching. Thank you very much for your view, mate. You got the whole world of TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, terrestrial TV. You could go out in your garden and touch grass, but you're watching me as if you're some sort of prisoner. It's my powers, isn't it? I'm like a bloody magnet. Even haters will sit and watch me. It's great. Love it. What a community we're building, people. We've got people who hate us in the chat watching it. It's amazing. It's brilliant. Absolutely love it. Keep doing it. Dan V says, the other week you called Newcastle fans vile. What goes around comes around. What's going around? What's going around, Dan? Tell you what's going around. The wheels on my Ferrari from people like you watching. That's what's going around. What's going around? I don't know what you're talking about. I don't drive a Ferrari, by the way. I'm just trying to wind Dan up a little bit. But I don't know what wheels are going around in here. And they don't. The bottom line is people don't actually watch the content that we do, because the reason the community grows is because it's actually a really, I think, I mean, I'm always going to be biased, but I think we've got a really, especially on this channel, That's Football, I think is far better than United Stand for, proper football conversation, because it's less biased. But you're always going to be red tinted on United Stand because it's the club that you support. But it's a good conversation. Pizza, I don't know what that means. Tar Goldie Watchalong win Sunday. Grealish says, I actually believe Trent means more to Liverpool. The reason is they won only 3 major trophies in 34 years. Only one girl agrees to go out with me in a year, and it means more to me, says Grealish. Okay. Revenue's going round. Keep up the good work, says Tom. Revenue. Got some right prats in here today, says Darren. Mate, I've been doing this long enough, right? I've been doing this long enough. I'm going to tell you a little secret about life. People are more toxic on a Sunday than any other day of the week. There's explain it in the chat, but telling you now, I've been doing this for years. Sunday is always the day where you get the most abuse and the most hate. I have a theory on it. I'd love to hear some of yours. Mark, people can't accept the fact that one man controls United's media. I don't. That's ridiculous, Parker. I do not. Work tomorrow, hungover. Day before back to work. Yeah. Reality of your life settles in. Yeah. Sunday is the day. It always has been. I used to hate Sundays. I remember on a Sunday I'd like desperately try and find another job. Nowhere's open. I used to hate Sundays. I mean, Sundays were depressing as a kid. If it rained on a Sunday, it was depressing. We only had 4 channels. Songs of Praise, Last of the Summer Wine, and Raining Outside. Can't wait for the same 7 p.m. show, says Taylor. It's going to be good. Good save by Vicario there. Heartbeat, yes. Thanks, Shane. Look, what I will say is thanks everyone who supports the community. I know United stands different to here. I love That's Football. I think That's Football's a really good... I mean, That's Football's not really even controversial, is it? We don't, it's not club specific, so it's just general football talk. So I do love That's Football. But big shout out to all the people who support us and are part of the community, because as I always say, whatever your life is, just focus on the good people. The bad people are irrelevant. Bullseye, I actually quite liked, Vlad. London's Burning was quite good as well. I think the great thing about all these football communities that have sprung up in the last 10 years is that if you tear them all down, you'll end up back with the mainstream, which is run by 2 or 3 powerful multi-billionaires. All these journalists, they think they're independent. They're not. They're employed by a news corporation. Well, the journalists are employed by a newspaper who are owned by a corporation that is owned by about 2 or 3 multi-billionaires around the world. And we'll just go back to that again. Freedom of speech disappears. You might not like the fact that I don't think McGinn should get sent off, but at least it's real conversation where you can actually debate amongst fans. People trying to break it down because it's toxic. Madness. Like the sun hasn't been toxic all of my life. It's hilarious. It's absolutely hilarious what they try and break down. You spread lies about players for clicks, says Nathan. You got what you deserve. Nathan, I'm not even going to get involved in you. You're the one who sends me messages asking me to send you signed T-shirts and stuff. So don't start coming in here with your flip-flop opinions. I know exactly who you are, Nathan, and I've seen your messages. So, coming in calling me a hypocrite, spreading lies. What was it you wanted for Christmas? A signed shirt and a meet and greet? Come on. Don't out yourself. Intelligent people will know who Nathan Harper is. He's always in the chat. He's been here for years. Intelligent people have 2 kids. Dumb people have 10 kids. Mark, it's a sign of the times. Don't listen to the idiots, says Oddie. That's a true story about Nathan. Like, I don't know what he's jumping in on. Again, it's Sunday, isn't it? Even Nathan, who comes to our live shows and wants signed shirts and has been here for years, Sunday's even got him. It's like The Walking Dead. Sunday toxicity. It's even got older Nathan now. There's something about Sundays, I'm telling you. People just... M. Parker says, haha, Nathan wants a T-shirt. I feel bad for not sending it him now. It was here as well. It says, best of luck, Nathan. No. Sunday, bloody Sunday. Well, that was something a bit different. although Alan Partridge said it really does emphasise, what did he say? Sunday, Bloody Sunday by U2. It really does define the monotony of a Sunday. Cut the grass, nothing on the telly. Obviously, it wasn't to do with that. Liverpool fan from US says, Rizar, I bet you're feeling nervous, mate. Tom says, here's a £5 for a pint. Thanks very much, Tom. Thanks for the support. Well, Villa have... It's just disappointing for Villa. Constantine says, people need hobbies. Thanks very much, you Hughes lads. Mark, you're just telling the truth, no filters. That's why you have such a huge community. Ignore the haters, they're jealous, says Cal. Well, we're nothing without the community, as I've always said. Carol J said, a gifted 5 memberships. Thanks, Carol, you legend. Team news should... I'm just waiting for the team news on Liverpool. Should be out. Oh, Kulusevski, good block. See if I can get the Liverpool team news for you. It should be out. It's an hour before kickoff now. Anyone seen it? There we go. Got it. Kelleher in goal. Salah doesn't start and is on the bench. Kelleher in goal. Gomez, Van Dijk, Kwanzaa, Bradley, Szoboszlai, McAllister and Endo. Nunez, Diaz, Elliott. Salah on the bench. Gakpo on the bench. Robertson on the bench. And then a bunch of kids and Tsimikas. 3-0. Son. I mean, look at that league table now. It's changing. But Spurs... Yeah, Son with the goal. I think it's safe to say United. I didn't think United could get top 4 anyway, Champions League football anyway, but it's definitely gone now. That's an annihilation for Villa, but for Spurs, smooth as you like. What's the story with Lee Berman says Nathan is currently writing his own version of Eminem Stan about not getting a signed shirt and his pants pulled down. Why do you think Villa's form has dipped so much, says OJB? I think they've done all right recently, but remember Villa played Thursday night. Spurs have got some tough fixtures, but good day to be Villa, says Daniel. And I'm just going to have a look at my fantasy Premier League team, and this is horrible for me because I have been trying to keep it going all season, and the last 3 weeks I just haven't changed my team. So Son's got me 11 points. Garnacho got me 9. Johnny Evans got me 6. Saliba got me 2. I've got Solanke. I'm actually not doing that bad. 27 points I've got. Well, I know I've got 33 points, actually. Still got Haaland to come. De Bruyne to come. Don't know whether De Bruyne is actually starting here. The City team is Edison, Walker, Akanji, Aki, Rodri, Stones, Silva, De Bruyne, Foden, Alvarez, Haaland. I mean, they're just so strong. Diaz on the bench, Kovacic, Doku, Vardiel, Nunez. Oh, fucking hell. They're so strong. They're so strong, City. So strong. 69% of you said it should have been a red card, by the way. Oh my God. It's 4-0. Timo Werner. $4-0. Dear, oh dear. Dear, oh dear, oh dear. I think it's Son with another assist as well. It is. Son's banging in the points if you've got Son today. He's got about 14 points. 2 assists and a goal. Well, it's not the result I thought it was going to be. I thought it'd be a lot closer. And considering this was 0-0 at half time. Are you doing Newcastle tomorrow night? Says Sam the man. Yes, I am. And Rebecca says, I don't understand why you're getting so much hate, Mark. You are by far the best content creator there is. Keep smashing it. Don't let them get to you. And thank you very much, Rebecca, for your support. Phoenix says, I'm a Liverpool fan. Yours is the only channel I'd be a member for. The haters can do one. Thanks very much, mate. And Villa haven't beaten a team above 12th in 3 months and still have to play City, Arsenal, Liverpool, Chelsea, West Ham, Brighton, Wolves. Could they finish 6th, says Duncania. I think for Villa, this is why I've always been bigging them up. Like they've had, and it's a straight red card for McGinn as well. Let's not forget that's how many games do you get banned for that? Is it 3? 3-game ban for him. This is what I talk about Villa and Ange and Emery getting manager of the month, manager of the year, because I think getting top 4 is incredible for them. And they deserve it. They deserve it based on the seasons they've had so far. But look, this is the business end of it. And Spurs aren't, Villa have got to play Thursday night football as well. What do you prioritise? You're going to prioritise Champions League football, aren't you? But if they win the Conference League, they're in the Europa League anyway. I don't know what happened to Van der Ven, Winston. He went off. I don't know. He walked off quite normally, but it's obviously one of those injuries where he knows he's done something. It's very. Doctor Strange says Villa always do badly after a European week. It is very difficult to play Thursday, Sunday. And we might see that again in a few minutes when Liverpool play. But it's very hard to do it. Burnley are beating West Ham 2-0, by the way. They finally found their... it'll be Moyes out again. Be Moyes out. What's going on with some of the results today? Son will never be better than Willem's career in... yeah, it was a good career. Pizza. Are you doing Liverpool City? Yes, I am. 100%. 100%. Are you going to name the players at 7, says Arvin? Yes. Oh, mate, look, the great thing is people can put stuff out there and make stuff up. I'm just going to give the facts at 7 o'clock. You know, I can't not really. It's a fan community that talks about the news. I'm not going to not talk about something that mentions us. So you'll get this full story of what's happened, and people can deal with it. But you know, I know how it works. People see an opportunity to stab you, and they'll do it. But, you know, I can't argue on Twitter because Twitter's just full of faceless cowards, isn't it? But I can do it on the United Stand because I'll just sit there on a stream and tell you what's happening. Mark, you were laughing at Van der Ven and compared him to a hooker when he went down. Don't act like you care. Oh, God. Sunday, bloody Sunday. It's a shame we have good football on a Sunday because really I'd like to just turn my phone off and do no content and come back on a Monday. We've been talking about Sunday syndrome and how it is factually the most toxic, abusive day of the week. People are horrible on a Sunday. Not everybody, but it's always the worst day. To Eric out, to be successful at top, you have to get best out of manager, not the players. So you then have the players that suit manager's style of play, says Cyber Spider. Can you explain the new Champions League format, says Jack? It's not my job to do it. I'm not employed by UEFA, but basically it's a big league with 36 teams in it. I think you play 8 games instead of 4, instead of 6. You play 8 games against 8 teams. You don't play home and away. And then based on where you are in the league, you go through to a knockout point. And then there's a playoff as well. It's just basically more games. More games, more money. That's what it's all about. Right. Thanks, everybody, for watching. I'm back with you very soon. I'm back in about 15 minutes, actually. So quick cup of tea, quick break, and back for the big one. Liverpool against Man City. Please do subscribe on your way out, by the way. We're so close to 117,000. We're only 100 subscribers away. So please do subscribe, bottom right-hand corner, and I'll see you in about 15.